We've got Caleb Plant, David Benavidez going at it later on in the first part of the year. Breadman, how excited are you for that showdown?
I'm excited. But I don't get too high, I don't get too low. You know what I mean? But I'm excited. I'm ready to, get going.
Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant's a little bit of a different guy for those of us in the boxing world. A real humble guy, hard-working, grindstone type of guy, a very cerebral young man. Tell us what it's been like so far working with Caleb Plant.
It's been a joy. It's been a pleasure. He's easy to work with. Really is. Really easy to work with. Takes boxing very serious. He's one of the few people that takes boxing as serious as I do. So it's easy, to be honest with you. It's easy to work with him. It's just, as a trainer, it's easy. Camp's not difficult. It's an easy time.
Mr. Benavidez, the other day, made comments in regards to Caleb Plant's power, and he kind of insinuated, well, if he's not on the juice, where did the magical knockout power come from? What's your response to those accusations? Or insinuations there?
I don't have no response to that. I don't want to get into a back and forth with his dad or any clickbait or whatever. Whatever his opinion is, it is. That's why the young men are testing. And if somebody is doing something they're not supposed to be doing, then VADA will catch them. That's just that. But I don't have a response to that. I know I'm a clean trainer. It's something that I always talked about out in the open. I'm always transparent with the drug testing. I've taken fights in the past where my guy tested and the other guy didn't. I call Margaret Goodman personally on the phone. So that kind of stuff, talking about drug testing, it don't bother me because if you clean, that don't bother you. So I hope that that the testing is great for this camp. I hope VADA does their job, and I'm all for it. I hope that Mr. Benavidez keeps talking about testing because we need a clean sport, and it's a good thing. You know what I mean? It's a good thing that these guys fighting on a level playing field, and I know what I do, and I know I'm not a dirty coach, so I'm with all that. I want these guys to get tested every day. I want these guys to get tested 6 months before the fight. Listen, Caleb got money. He can afford to test whenever. David got money. They can invest in clean boxing. You know what I mean? So I love that talk, actually. That's really my only response. I love to talk about the drug testing and clean boxing because that should be brought up more. When you don't hear that talk, that's when you know something is not right. So I know Caleb has asked for drug testing in his fights. He asked for drug testing in the Darrell fight. He wanted drug testing in this fight. I know what I do, so I'm with that. Like that's a compliment to me. If you're talking about drugs and you clean, that's a compliment. So that's great. I'm glad he's talking about. That's his son that's in the ring. You know what I mean? So we love our kids. He's supposed to be protective over his son, man. You know what I mean? So I respect that. It ain't nothing in the world I love more than my kids. You know what I mean? So I feel him on that. That was a big time knockout. You know what I mean? So, and Caleb's not known as a puncher. So if he wants to make sure that things are fair and all that kind of stuff, that's cool. Let's keep putting the needles in their arm. That's all I can say. I'm glad. You know what I mean? It don't matter to me none. Testing ain't no big deal if you clean. You know what I mean? It's like whatever.
Coach, David Benavidez, when you look at David Benavidez is someone that a lot of boxing fans say passes the eye test off the rip with the way that he approaches his work in the ring. How do you approach, how many layers is it to breaking down a fighter like David Benavidez, and have you guys already started watching camp in preparation for the bout?
I've seen him fight a few times, and we got a good game plan, man. That's all I'm gonna say. We got a good game plan. No matter what nobody else say, I'm confident in my guy that he's gonna win the fight, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. I just believe in Caleb Plant. Ain't nothing bad that I can say about David Benavidez because he's a heck of a fighter. I just believe Caleb is going. I don't want to get into it, but Caleb is going to win the fight, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Coach, and I leave you with this: the whatever the accusations were in regards to Caleb Plant, there are a litany of boxing fans that contribute your addition into camp with the knockout of Anthony Durrell, with the way that the punch was set up, that you're kind of you're a real cerebral coach, and that you teach a lot of technique to build power. Can you talk to us about that?
Well, you saw us in the media day and you spoke on it, but I don't want to talk about myself. You got to ask Caleb what I did in camp. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say what I did because he's the fighter. He got to say what I did, or his dad, or, you know, people that's part of their team, because I don't know how their camp was before I got there. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I would like to think that I added on to him. You know what I mean? But you got to ask them that. I just know I did my best, and we had a great camp. You know, like every single day was productive, and that's a rare thing. Like every day was really productive. He went 100 miles an hour. It was just a real good camp.
Coach, fighting a fighter such as Tank Davis that has sudden knockout power, what does that do to your game plan, and what things are you preaching to your fighter time and time out in camp leading up to the bout?
Sudden is a good word because his power is sudden. It comes out of nowhere. But with a guy like that, you know, you can't like fall asleep, or you will fall asleep. Like, you got to be on your P's and Q's. You got to be real alert. You got to have a high sense of awareness because they hit you with shots that you're not seeing out of the clinch. You know, like guys making silent agreements out of the clinch, and then he pull a boom. You know, he's real good at that. I seen him. He got a guy in the UK like that. They was breaking him up, and it wasn't even an illegal shot. It was a good shot. But you just have to have a high sense of awareness when you're dealing with a big puncher. And that's what I will be preaching to the kid. You know, everybody has tendencies. Tank's got little setup moves that he does. You just got to have a real high sense of awareness, man. And your punches have to be real sharp. You can't be all crazy with your punches because you can get countered. With the Raleigh fight, Raleigh was doing real good, man. He was fighting a good fight. I thought he was winning the fight as far as points is concerned. But people only remember the end result. But he overcommitted on the right hand. Tank just ran him right to his left hand. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful when you're dealing with a big puncher to not overcommit, make sure everything is sharp, and have a high sense of awareness.
Definitely. Well, there you have it, friends. Marcus Hayes with Fight Hub TV, here with the one and only Coach Breadman Edwards. Breadman, we'd like to thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, man, and good luck.